Let me tell you, this crazy conversation I had with my girlfriend last week, she gives me that "I'm fine" line, and man, I almost really messed up taking it at face value. After years of coaching and dating, and watching innumerable relationships go to flame over communication fails, I can say these simple 2 words mean more than an entire season of your favorite drama series. Look, I get it. At this point, you're probably rolling your eyes thinking, not another article about women's communication. But bear with me here, because what I'm going to share isn't your typical relationship advice. This comes from real-world experience, countless therapy sessions with couples, and some pretty embarrassing personal mistakes that taught me the hard way. The thing with "I'm fine" is that it's rarely just about being fine. It's more like some relationship Morse code, and if you can't decode it, you're basically walking through an emotional minefield blindfolded. Trust me, I've seen tough guys, smart guys, and even relationship experts stumble over this one simple phrase. Now, let's get real for a second. When a woman says, "I'm fine," what she's actually doing is giving you an opportunity. Yeah, you heard that right, an opportunity, not a dead end. It's like she's throwing you a rope, hoping you'll use it to climb deeper into what's really going on. The problem? Most guys see it as a green light to move on and change the subject. Big mistake. Huge. Here's what is actually going through her mind while those words leave her lips. First of all, something quite real brews inside worst-case scenario. Disappointment, being hurt, frustrated, or sometimes just in dire need of getting closer. This is usually said when, instead of laying all this out there, she tests waters. She wants to find out if you care enough emotionally to dig deeper. I recall this one client, whom we'll call Mike. His girlfriend would always use "I'm fine" when he came home late from work. Mike was one of those guys who actually used logic in a relationship and just went back to coming home late from work. 3 months later, he was sitting in my office, having been blindsided by their breakup. The "I'm fine" was not about his hours at work. It was about being a priority in his life. The secret to handling "I'm fine" is not in trying to fix whatever you think might be wrong. It's in creating a safe space where real communication can actually happen. When you hear those words, think of them as an invitation that you care enough to look beneath the surface. But here is where most advice screws it up. It tells you to just push and continue asking questions. That's not always the right move. Sometimes, it's about sitting in that uncomfortable moment and showing that you can handle emotional tension without trying to rush through it. Yeah, it feels awkward. That's kind of the point. I learned this the hard way in my early days of dating and used to either freak out and start apologizing for everything I could think of, or worse, get frustrated and say something like, "Well, if you're fine, then what's the problem?" Both approaches, total relationship killers. The real power move when someone says, "I'm fine," is to respond with presence. Not just physical presence, but emotional presence. Put down your phone. Turn away from the TV. Make eye contact. Then say, "I hear you saying you're fine, but I get the feeling there might be more to it. I'm here if you want to talk about it." Sometimes, the "I'm fine" comes with screaming body language. Crossed arms, avoiding eye contact, that little sigh she does, you know the one. These aren't just random gestures. They're part of the full message she's sending. Learning to read these signs is not about becoming a mind reader. It's about paying attention to the whole communication package. Here's what most guys maybe don't know. Sometimes, "I'm fine" is her way of working through it in her own head and really doesn't feel ready to discuss anything yet. That is the time when pressing for more will get you the opposite result. Showing you notice, care, and will be there when she's ready, though incredibly powerful. It is in actually starting to respond to the emotion behind the words rather than to the words that you get to a real game changer. This is learning a new language. The words are on how to speak the language of emotional connection. And let me tell you, becoming fluent in this language will transform your relationships. I've seen guys completely turn their relationships around once they got this. One client started responding to his wife's "I'm fine" with genuine curiosity instead of defensiveness. Within weeks, those "I'm fine" moments became actual conversations. Their connection deepened, and problems that used to spiral into fights started getting resolved through real dialogue. Here's the thing about emotional communication. It's not necessarily about knowing what she means when she says, "I'm fine." It's about creating an environment where she doesn't have to use that phrase as code. When you show up time and again, year in and year out, as one who can handle an emotional conversation, who won't judge or fix everything right this minute, the need for these coded messages starts to disappear. Just remember, mastering this isn't about becoming a relationship guru or some sort of psychic. It's being present with interest and having the willingness to sit in discomfort for long enough for real connection to happen. When you can do that, "I'm fine" isn't such a frustrating dead end, but rather a doorway to deeper